Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am doing some super simple winter container planting. Now the reality is I have not gotten to a garden center and I'm not sure I'm going to. So I decided instead of waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and use what I have. What I have very specifically are seeds. I've got wheat and my favorite grain, barley, which will be awesome elements in these large containers here at the fire pit. I also have wildfire lettuce mix, which is a really beautiful foliage element that of course you can eat. And I did go ahead and buy some tulip bulbs. I got these this week. They were on super sale because it's really the very end of the season. But I have found that tulips are great to plant in pots because the voles can't eat the bulbs. There's no point in putting tulips in the ground here. We have just too much, we have too many active animals, not just voles, but also rabbits and deer that eat the tulip foliage. So I've had great success in the past growing tulips in pots and figured this was a really easy way to fill out these containers and make them look really impressive in the spring season. All right, so I have just 4 containers here and they all have some sort of permanent woody element. We've got a longleaf pine, blueberry, a fig, and then a lantana. Lantana's not gonna look great through the winter, but I'm gonna keep it in the pot because if I transplant it now, it probably won't overwinter. Whereas if I leave it and replant it in the spring, that'll have a higher success rate of actually successfully perennializing. All right, for this project, I'm using a hori-hori and I'm gonna plant the tulips first. So I'm just literally stabbing the soil and dropping a bulb pointy side up into the hole. And that's nice and deep. That's about 5 inches deep. As I said, I think I'll be able to do 5 tulips in this pot, and then I'll still be able to have room for a nice big clump of barley, as well as having plenty of space for this cute little blueberry that I planted in here last week. Okay, so 5 tulip bulbs all towards the front, and now just with my hands I'm gonna make a small hole here, open this barley up, and as I mentioned, I'm just gonna scatter about half of the pack so that it grows into a nice clump. I actually ended up doing the entire pack. I instantly don't take my own advice. It's okay. I'll do barley in this pot and I'll do wheat in that pot and we'll be able to compare. So now I'm just gonna cover that barley seed up very lightly. And to do the finale, I'm going to go ahead and scatter some of this wildfire lettuce mix. What I like about this is that it's both chartreuse and burgundy foliage, so it looks really nice. And I'm just scattering that very lightly over the top of the area where I put those tulip bulbs. And now lightly going over that with my hands. And that's it. Pretty anticlimactic. So now I'll just do the same in the matching pot behind me, and basically I'm gonna go ahead and add tulips to the other pots and add the lettuce mix in addition to the tulips. So I didn't even end up using any of the wheat. In fact, I only put barley in this one pot, and the rest of the containers are all just a mix of the tulips and the lettuce. And I did that for all of the pots here at the fire pit. Remember, I'm reducing the number of containers I'm growing this winter because I'm in the middle of a house transition, moving from the blue house to the white house, turning the blue house into the Airbnb. And I don't want to be a weirdo having to be over here when the house is rented. I want to give the guests space. So I don't want to have too many containers that require watering on a regular basis. Now, because we're cooler, things don't need to be watered as regularly, but we're still not getting consistent rain. So that means that you do have to actually pay attention when your pots start growing. In particular is when you need to make sure that you don't allow them to dry out for the winter. Now remember, I always use soil cube, very specifically veggie mix, in all of my containers, as well as all of my in-ground plantings. So my pots don't need to be watered as frequently compared to those that are potted with traditional potting soil, which is a peat moss based mix. I've found for my own needs and habits, soil cube is just a much better medium for me to grow in because it's lower maintenance, it retains more moisture, and it really reduces my need for fertilizing. And you'll notice I haven't added any fertilizer to these, and that's very much on purpose. I don't want these plants to start growing and being very tender and then suddenly get hit by cold weather. So I don't really ever fertilize anything at this time of year. And then as they grow out during the spring, as we're getting warmer, that's when I'll add a light layer of an organic quick release, something like a 465 from Dr. Earth. But again, that won't be happening realistically until March. So I do hope that you'll subscribe and stay in the loop for updates. I will be posting monthly container garden updates. So if you want to follow the journey, that's going to be the easiest way to find that content. And I'm wishing you all the very best. As always, thanks for watching and happy gardening.